Whenever I'd hear about Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, usually the sharp difficulty curve compared to the original Mario is always brought up. The Lost Levels was released as Super Mario Bros. 2 in Japan, but we got a completely different Mario 2 here in the US because they felt the game was too difficult. Nintendo would later release it here years later and called it The Lost Levels. I originally never seriously considered trying this game before because I was intimidated by how difficult I heard it was. So, when I played some of the older Marios a few years ago, I decided to skip this one and go straight to the third. However, I guess I was feeling in the mood for a difficult game and thought playing it might provide some funny video content, and to my surprise, I was able to actually beat it in a few play sessions. In my opinion, the NES era of gaming in general is definitely a lot more difficult than most modern games. Part of it is a leftover of the arcade era, trying to get you to spend lots of your hard-earned quarters to continue. And the difficulty also added extra length to the games to increase your playtime. I played fully through the original Mario a few years ago, and I felt even that one gets annoyingly difficult and unfair by the end. So, seeing how The Lost Levels is notorious for its difficulty, I was curious to see what it did to make itself stand out as more difficult compared to other games of the era. This game looks and feels exactly like the original Super Mario Bros., as it reuses pretty much everything from that game, like the sprites and music. However, unlike the first one, the game doesn't ease you in, and immediately throws in some of the more advanced enemies from the original at you. Power-ups are also more difficult to obtain, to the point where I never actually was able to get a fire flower at all during my playthrough. There's new additions to the game too that mess with you, like poison mushrooms that kill you, and occasionally wind that will push you both on land and in the air. There's lots of confusing obstacles, like needing to find hidden blocks to make a jump or other hidden elements. Some levels even require you to traverse the level in very particular ways with no indication whatsoever, and you continue to loop around until you take the right path. The original does this on the last level, but in this one it happens in several levels and in a more extreme manner. The game also loves to troll you, and you'll end up finding pipes that'll warp you back to the previous worlds just for added punishment. The one thing I noticed this game was nicer about is if you lose all your lives, the game will automatically start you on the world you were on, instead of sending you all the way back to World 1. This was in the original too, but it was hidden behind a button combo, so most people don't know about that. The game overall is pretty mean to the player though, and lots of trial and error is required to progress, which definitely makes it quite a challenge. Despite all that, I managed to have a fun time playing this game. It took me 3 hours and 24 minutes to beat the game. I will admit though, I very much abused my ability to use save states to get through this. I definitely am one to use save states when other games get tough, as I'm not a fan of repeating multiple entire levels because one specific obstacle is challenging me. If it weren't for save states, I definitely would have given up on this game, since having to restart over and over would have frustrated me and taken a lot of my time. I'm not sure I would have even had the skill to beat this back in the day when save states weren't an option, even if I had the patience. But thankfully, I could get through it thanks to save states, and I was able to enjoy each challenge as I came across it with minimal frustration. There were occasions where I'd have to look up how to progress, since the game gives no direction for some of its obstacles, but I feel that's par for the course with this generation of gaming. It still felt great to get through a tough portion, and I could feel myself getting a little better as I played despite the increasing challenge. Even with my usage of save states and looking things up on the internet, I still felt really accomplished at the end when I was able to beat the game. Overall, I'd say for sure this is the weakest of the mainline Mario games I've played through. It's very much just more of the original, with very few changes to make it distinct. This game's purpose was to provide a more challenging experience, and in that, it succeeds. I would definitely recommend playing any other 2D Mario over this one in most cases, but if you ever specifically want a more challenging Mario game, then this game is definitely an option for you to try. It definitely can be a pretty rewarding game to beat if you're capable, but I definitely would recommend using save states as it very much makes this game bearable. If that's not an option, or something you'd rather not do, you're going to be in for an incredibly brutal time that I personally wouldn't want to do myself, but I definitely wish you the best of luck with that and hope you are triumphant. Thanks for watching the video, hope you enjoyed. If you want to see more of Mario The Lost Levels, I made a bit of a gameplay montage for laughs, and you should check that out. And if you're new here, I have reviews on a bunch of different games as well. So, if you want to see more from me, definitely stomp on that subscribe button, and I'll be seeing more of you soon.